Hi, hello, this is Jules the Human here, and welcome to the Jules and Matt Anime Hour. I'm one of your hosts, Jules the Human, and every week we go out into the world and we watch a little bit of anime, and we come back here and talk about it. And today we are talking about episode 9 through 12 of Tokyo Revengers. This is the final episode about Tokyo Revengers. So if you haven't seen the other ones, go back, start a couple episodes ago, and then come back over here because by the end of this episode, we're going to pick a new anime that we're going to be watching for the next 3 or so weeks. And I don't go on these anime journeys alone. I go on these journeys with my co-host Matt Galley. Matt, how has Tokyo been treating you? You're muted. Oof.
Man, oh man, this has been an insane rewatch. I don't like the first time I watched this show, the whole season had already been dropped, and I did kind of just binge it. And it's been a very interesting rewatch because I didn't really soak in all the like plot beats that happened, and like
Uh-huh.
I was saying before, I really do feel like the show is just like anime junk food where it's like all of these plot beats where I'm just like, like give me more of this, but at the same time like it's up to discussion for sure as to whether or not how much of it kind of
Makes
holds
sense.
together and makes sense. Yeah, exactly.
In the confines of this is a guy going back in time to try and fix something, but also can come back to the future 7 years or 12 years ago or whatever. But we're gonna get into that. We're gonna give you our thoughts about all the different things that happened in this first arc. When you say first season, was it up to this point, or the first season meaning episode 21 or 22 or
The
whatever?
first season goes up to like episode 20 or 21. There's like
Okay,
a
so
whole
this
nother arc that involves the whole introduction of Valhalla and how that and Mobius and like how that kind of plays out and stuff along there. But I mean, spoiler not spoiler, I feel like the story does kind of tread some of the same water that it does that it like deals with in this first arc, episodes up to 1 through 12. I feel like I remember there feeling like there being, a bit of treading the same water. But
sure.
if I rewatch it further and feel different, that's up to time to tell.
Sure. We're gonna get into Tokyo Revengers, but
Because we also have to pick a new anime
we have to pick
today,
a new anime. We gotta
and we have
rate
to
this
rate it.
anime.
Yes.
So there's a lot going on, and we got to get our thoughts because there's a lot happening. So Tokyo Revengers episode 9 Revolt. What happens in episode 9?
Episode 9, Draken ends up ambushed by Mobius. However, Mikey manages to arrive in time to help Draken out, also meeting Hanma, the temporary leader of Mobius. Mikey is unable to take him out with his signature kick, and Hanma points out the number disparity before the rest of Toman arrives to join in a huge brawl. Takemichi attempts to look for Draken amidst the brawl. Mikey consoles Pe, and then a bleeding out Draken is discovered after Takemichi spots Kiyomasa lurking in the crowd.
Ooh, so this one was like heavy action, and this is gonna go into my final like review of the anime. As far as like animation goes, I wanted to see more. I wanted to see more movement. Like we get a
Yeah.
lot of talk. That's cool. Exposition during fights is an anime token trait. It happens all the time. But like the actual like movement and flow of the fight, I wanted so much more because they give you so many other cool characters. Like Toman shows up, and I'm like, who are these guys?
Yeah.
We've only heard of Toman for a little while. Again, this is my first time watching. I have not seen anything past, so I'm probably gonna be talking a bunch because this is my first time talking about it. But like out of nowhere, we're just like waiting, and then it's like, boom, okay, they heard the call. We've only heard of Toman being like super big. We haven't actually seen it happen. I was like, okay, Toman's supposed to be like this formidable thing. We haven't seen all these guys together. We only see like little spurts of little groups at some point.
We saw a small amount of them at the shrine before the whole Mobius thing happened, but like we didn't really get to see them. We just knew they were there. It
Yeah,
was implied that there was the crowd there, but this is like it's like, face shot after face shot of like character design, character design,
it's
character
so
design.
cool. that was such a dope
You got
moment. They're
the
like,
one that's like smiling and geeking out, the one that's like got a buzz cut with all the designs going on in the blue hair. Then you have a Baji, the one that just, you know, looks all wicked with super long hair, puts it up in a ponytail. Like they're all characters. They're all distinct.
they're all main characters in their own right. It's so cool. Like I love that moment. They're like, "Oh, we're here," and then boom, here's this person with the name, and I'm like, "Ah," and then another really super distinct person, and it was like, "Oh my god, this is so dope, so cool to see." And then when they finally come together to fight, such a cool moment. I wanted some more. The
Yeah.
only thing that again I was kind of harping on was that I wanted more like movement action because a lot of it's sort of talking and like static stuff with some
Yeah.
stuff going on around, but I want
And
like
even
more
so, yeah, so
action.
as we get into the next episode too, like this episode and the next episode, and throughout later on, and I think that's something that I remember happening too, is there's a lot of implied action that happens just
Yeah.
off shot, and I just want to be seeing that happen. And
Yeah.
I think that's a case in point of this show probably would have benefited to be a 12 episode seasonal anime instead of stretching itself out so thin, because that's
Mhm.
a budgeting thing. Of course they want to make everything look visually interesting
Sure.
as much as they can, but budgetarily, if they you know, if they can't really do that, something like a huge brawl is going to be one of the first things that really takes, like, well, we can't put a bunch of budget into that, so just, you know, static crowd shots and then the one or two people doing things
Mhm.
in the middle, like, and nothing else is moving. um this is where I feel like it could have benefited from being handled kind of like a tournament arc episode, where, like, yeah, you get to see a demonstration of all of these characters and their capabilities and stuff, but instead we just get their introduction without anything to go with it. And that kind of makes it feel like another parallel to draw would be like when all of the captains get introduced in Black Clover and you just get their names, but they don't do anything. The only person who
Yeah.
does anything is the guy from the Golden Dawn, which then you get to see, you know, the peak. But we already know what Mikey can do. He can ground guys in one kick. We saw that happen. Oh, here's Hanma, a guy that didn't get grounded in one kick. But then, like,
So that automatically sets the stakes that he's the first person to block it, and it automatically tells the viewer like, "Oh, he's a different level," because
exactly.
every single time we've seen him do this kick, they were done, and then we get the
Hmm.
introduction of Hama. But I want to go back to what you were saying about the introduction of all these characters because it shows like all the different fighting styles, which was also really cool to see, and I wanted more of. This was like the huge culmination of everything. This was the fight that Takamichi had to stop because where Draken gets stabbed and dies eventually, and that sets off the whole other course for something else. But the fighting styles were so cool. We get the
Yeah,
introduction of Hanma as again a formidable foe here, who is we're this is the first time we see him, right?
correct.
Like
This is his introduction.
it's just like, oh my god, who's this guy? Instantly stuffs a kick, and then him and Mikey are going at it, and he holds his own, and it's like, whoa, this is crazy. What's happening? And it's so dope. I really like this scene. I really like what's going on here. And then, of course, the moving forward of the story where Kiyomasa does eventually we see do what he's supposed to do. I really hate Takamichi, but I know I'm supposed to hate him.
Yeah.
Like he was in the fight. I know he doesn't fight.
He yeah, he
I
doesn't
know he
fight.
can't fight.
He just kind of flails around haphazardly and
He's
just
just
like,
talking to
where's
himself.
Draken? Where's Draken? I have to stop this from happening. Otherwise, Hina. But in Draken and Akun, where's Draken?
Brother, yeah, the whole time, and I'm just like, "What?" It was so annoying in
It
this episode
was.
and then the last episode that we watched because I'll tell you then, but, like, I really hate him, but I know I'm supposed to hate him now because he's gonna have a whole character development. I get it, but it's like, "What are you doing, dude? This is the whole thing you came here for, and you're just standing around just, like, looking, like, just where is he? Where is he? And it's like, come on, you know what Draken looks like. He's tall. He's taller than everybody else. Figure it out.
He's wearing a checkered
He's the
casual. He's
only
wearing a
one
checkered shirt,
wearing.
casual outfit. Everybody else is in their biker, clearly like,
Yeah.
I'm on this side, I'm on that side gear,
And you
and you
still
can't
can't find
spot
him,
the
bro.
third party. Bro, I'm not partying up with you in Apex.
Open your eyes, Jesus. So yeah, Draken goes down, and oh, it still happens. He didn't stop it, but now he has to figure it out. And I really like this episode as the culmination. It really showed how Hanma again is something to be reckoned with, and it shows how far Mikey is gonna go for his crew or
Yeah,
for his
I
people.
I really like the moment where he like just kind of lets Pe lay into him. Then he's like, "Why
Yeah.
aren't you fighting back?" And he's like, "Look at me, look at me. Am I smiling? Have I ever smiled about what's going on? Like nobody's happy about this.
Yeah. And like the way he just I don't know, he's a good
Beat
leader.
me up until you're happy."
Yeah, until you let it out. Like he knows that's what these kind of guys want or need to do. So he's like, I'll be the punching bag. Here, go for it. And I'll be there to pick you up whenever you're done. And it's like, wow, that's crazy. So I really love Mikey in this episode, the way he just rolled in, and all the Toman just coming out is so good. Really enjoyed this episode. Revolt, episode 9 was so dope. Episode 10, Re-Rise, going forward into the next episode. What does Takamichi got to do to help Draken?
So Mikey is preoccupied with Hanma and calls out to Takamichi to take care of Draken. Takamichi piggybacks Draken several blocks away from the brawl until Hina and Emma join up with him, waiting for an ambulance. Kiyomasa and his crew would show up to finish taking care of Draken. Regaining consciousness, Draken would ask Takamichi to take Hina and Emma and run. Done with running, Takamichi challenges Kiyomasa, initially flailing until finding himself putting Kiyomasa in a chokehold, rendering him unconscious. A shaky Takamichi and Draken stand to face the rest of the crew. However, the rest of Mizo Mid's Ferocious Five show up just in time to save them both.
Uh,
Echoing Takamichi's words,
uh,
we're not going to lose, we're not going to back down.
so good.
So
Oh my
good.
gosh. This episode 2.
Taking the
So many
knife in the
feelings.
hand, all of that.
Yeah, so Takamichi takes Draken, Kiyomasa stabs Takamichi in the hand, just like, whom?
Yep.
And then Kiyomasa I don't know. In my head, I'm like, Kiyomasa, you just gave him your
Your
weapon.
weapon, yeah.
But then
Not only that, you also like in my eyes, the first time I remember like I'd be like, now guess what? Blood all up in your eyes. Like that's the
yeah.
first thing I'm going for. Your eyes, bro. You just gave me
Just,
blood in the hand with a knife. Like
yeah,
it's two
you're
new
getting.
traits unlocked.
So, yeah, I didn't think about the blood part, but
Yeah.
yeah, he. I was like concerned about him giving the give the knife to him through his hand and having Takamichi do whatever he needs to with it. But then I saw that his other people, like the other people that were behind him, his crew, they also had weapons. So I was like, oh, he doesn't really care. He doesn't need them. But then Takamichi doesn't use it,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, okay, that's cool. I guess like that's the first thing that I would have done as
Yeah.
somebody like
Definitely.
him. If I was like stacked cards stacked against me, I
How
would have grabbed that
hasn't he
knife.
bought a pocket knife or something yet at this point?
Yeah, exactly. Um,
Even Akun, that one, scene, like, pulled one out. He was ready. He was ready for that.
yeah, Akun has one. Come on, man. Whatever. The whole moment where Draken was like, I'm gonna bet money on Takamichi. It was so good. Bro, I love Draken so much. It's such a cool character because he was like, no, well, since you decided, I told you to run, this is what you should have done.
Yeah.
Since you're gonna fight, you're gonna fucking do it. He's
I
pumping up
I
his
know this guy, and
yeah.
the only time he doesn't back down is when it's something that he's never gonna back down from.
Uh,
And I know he's not about to back down if he's deciding to fight. 100 million yen on him. Boom.
That's such a cool moment for these characters. Draken is like completely on his side. I feel it. I feel the emotion. And then Takamichi's like, "You're right. Thank you for the motivation." I'm like, "Yes, cool." Gets his ass kind of handed to him. That's fine. Whatever.
Yeah,
Um,
he gets, he gets some hits on him, but and then he finds his way up to, choking him out. And that was like, I think, such a good way of handling it because like you said, there's different fighting styles that get showed off and stuff. And to me, I don't know, this isn't a this I haven't seen this far, but to me this could be an early indication that like this dude could excel as like a grappler,
sure.
like a wrestler.
Hmm.
That's how a lot of small guys fight. They know how to render somebody immobile by using their own body against that person.
But then again, another thing, another hit with the animation, we don't actually see how
See,
it
it's
happens.
implied action. Yeah, that's what I
And it's
mean.
like,
It's implied
how
action.
did
He's
that,
just on his back. He goes from grabbing him around the waist to like biting him to getting on his back and putting him in a
and
chokehold.
I'm like, how does that happen? We missed it.
Yeah,
Like, I
we
was
missed
like,
it.
did I blink? Did something happen? We just
Camera
missed
just
it.
points directly up at the sky
Yeah. And
for
I'm
a
just like,
moment, and you just hear like
yeah. It's like, oh, oh. And I'm like, well, how did that happen? But whatever, I guess. Okay. He completely changed his movement to get behind him on top of him, sort of. I was like, okay, cool. But again, that's another thing for the animation that I wish I would have seen. But like you said, it's a long extended show that they probably cut from that. The introduction, where did these guys come from? I don't care. Whatever.
Mizomid's Furious Ferocious 5.
How did they get here? How did they know this is where they were? I don't
Oh,
care.
he Akun says that Hina called them.
Oh,
So
okay, yeah. I forgot.
at the start of this episode, it shows again Takamichi running to the thing, running to like the parking lot, and Hina sees him running. So I think it's implied that that's when she just preemptively calls his friends, like, "Hey, Takamichi's out here running around,
Gotcha,
getting into
gotcha.
trouble. Can you guys come get him out of trouble?" I think
Yeah.
that's what it's implying.
Okay.
I meant to double check that, but
Well,
yeah, it is.
okay. I
He just
just
in one line says like Hina called us. It's like when, and I think that's when it happened.
okay. Um yeah, must have missed that really quickly because I'm like, where? I don't know. I guess they knew this is where they were, but the coupled Akun being the one to do this,
Hmm.
coupled with we've already seen him die in the future. We've know the connection. We know that he's trying to preserve his life as well. And then for Akun to be changed enough by new future Takamichi that he's like using his words that he said to him in this moment is
Hmm.
so dope. I was like, this is so cool. Like these two characters, Draken, Akun,
And
we
then
know
and so yeah, you with those connections, and then there's also the connective thread of Takamichi echoing Tina, how he's like, I don't care if I'm not like Mikey, I'm Takamichi.
yes, and then you get the shot of her being like, "Yes, I understand. Like this is what it's echoing. I know this where this from. It just happened today." And it's like, "Oh, he understands. He gets it."
All of it. Give
And
me more. Ah,
yeah,
give me more.
it's so good. It's such a good moment. It's so dope. Take an extended period of these two, Akun and Takamichi, and it's like, oh, this is so good. I love this. I never want to see Akun die again. Uh, uh, sorry, because he was repeating the words that the day that he heard Takamichi speak at the Fight Club, and it's just a great moment. I love this. Um, I guess a little bit slower compared to what the action was from the last episode, but
Yeah.
not slow in story. And I was completely enthralled in all of that.
All four of these episodes, there's like constantly something developing, and I do enjoy that about
Yeah,
like, about these set of episodes specifically. I guess it just feels like there's just this constant forward momentum of, and then and it's always usually from bad to worse, from bad to worse, until there's finally from worse to better moments, and then that just it's like you finally get that breath of relief for these characters that you just want good things to happen to, but bad things just keep happening.
It helps because we have this real goal. Like it makes it understandable to be like August 3rd, this is happening. August 3rd, I need to stop this specifically. And it helps knowing exactly what the character's aiming for because then we can get there. And now we're here in the moment. And it's like, how do we resolve this? Because this shouldn't end a certain way. Claire says, I've come from the future for my revenge. Whoa. Are you a Tokyo Revenger? I'm gonna name you Recafe Claire because everything has a RE in front of it in every episode for some reason.
Recafe Claire.
But yeah, we get some great moments in this episode. Love this episode. So awesome. These characters are so great. Wick on the sticks. Thank you for the follow. I
Oh,
appreciate it. The lights are going off. The lights are
the
doing the
lights are
thing.
going off.
Thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. We're talking about Tokyo Revengers.
Episodes 9 through 12.
Episodes 9 through 12, and then we're going to pick a new anime because this is the
Spoilers.
Jules and Anime Hour. We talk about anime every week. We watch them together. It's kind of like a book club, but for an anime. Episode 11, Respect. What happens in episode 11?
So, Takamichi and Draken are put in an ambulance as Mikey finishes dealing with Hanma, who announces the presence of a new gang, Valhalla. Draken goes into cardiac arrest and is immediately brought in for surgery in the hospital. Initially tense, Mikey arrives to lighten the mood for everyone, telling them to believe in Draken. Peg gets pulled aside to hear how Draken was looking out for Pa more than anyone else had been, and word finally arrives that Draken has been put into a stable condition. Takamichi celebrates keeping him alive past October 8th or whatever date.
August,
Takamichi
what?
October 8th. I think it was October 8th or October 3rd. Was it
August
August?
3rd.
Was it August? Are you sure?
Yes, it was August 3rd.
Takamichi visits Draken in recovery, where he receives a gift from Mikey, his biker jacket from when he started the gang. Mikey also confronts Takamichi about who he is and how he was able to make all the moves that he did. Takamichi gives the necklace to Hinata before going back to a changed future where Draken lives on being the second in command of Toman, Akun becomes a hairstylist, and Hinata never became a victim of the Toman gang's violence.
Whew. Valhalla.
The
leader.
Toman shall never know peace again. See,
Fuck,
Takamichi
bro.
didn't hear that.
No, what a fucking intro to a new biker gang. This feels a lot like Sons of Anarchy, which is great for me. I loved Sons of Anarchy, such a fan. But this is like biker gangs against biker gang. This feels a little like Breaking Bad to me as well. This is sort of like Hanma for as a character, somebody that we just got introduced to. Great start for an arc because he's like, I'm mad, this shit doesn't happen, this isn't cool. I'm almost the same as you, Mikey, but
Yeah,
now I have a
he
different
showed
viewpoint.
that he is on the same ground as Mikey is terms his physical prowess. At least he wasn't able to be downed in a single kick, and he went toe to toe with Mikey, and they're both still
For a
standing.
while.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and said that. He's like, you're still standing. Like, are you? What kind of freak are you? But
yeah.
he's doing the same thing. So
And now we have the emergence of a new gang called Valhalla, and that's their rival now, and it's going to go to no end, and we see the end of some for that. But Draken goes into cardiac arrest. I was really hoping that he wouldn't die there. That would have
yeah,
been something because they were like, we have to do the operation and we hope it's successful. I'm like, is he going to die on the operating table? That would be the worst thing, to get to the finish line and him still die and still whatever.
I think that happening is to put everybody in that mood again, make everybody tense and have Mikey be the one to come in and reassure everybody like, hey, believe in him, he said he was going to build a new world with me and he's a man of his word. Like, there's no way he's going to back down on that, just for Takamichi to later see like Mikey was holding in all of those emotions and was terrified.
Yeah.
I think that's why that played out the way it did to give us that moment.
Sure. Going forward, this gives me like the two moments I'm going to talk about gives me sort of like almost like a Lord of the Flies sort of thing because in these moments where they're fighting and they have to be older and they have to deal with these things, whether self-imposed or by choice or whatever, they have to deal with them fighting and their friend getting stabbed actually and all this stuff. Deep down, they're still just kids. They're still
Yeah.
just boys, and they still don't understand that some things happen. They don't know the whole truth. They just go off of emotion, and it's like so it's so hard to see.
And that's
Um,
I think that that is echoed directly in when some of them tell Takamichi that he doesn't know anything, when in fact he knows everything.
yeah,
He's
he
the
knows
one
way
that knows
more.
everything, but they
Yeah,
keep like, "You don't know anything."
yeah,
And I
because
think
they think
that's what the show's trying to say.
they know everything
Yeah.
because they're 16 or whatever,
Yeah.
and everybody goes through that. But like the whole pay thing where he's like, dude, you allowed this to happen and this led to Jockin getting stabbed, but he was like the one that was had your guy's back this whole time, and he was pushing for it. No, in like the earlier scene, Mikey, he was like, bro, I'm not happy about this is not what I wanted. It's just how it goes, and this is what we're gonna have to deal with. In
Mhm.
that moment I felt like, oh man, like he's just a kid acting on emotions. And then here as well, like whenever we see Mikey being showing for the group because he knew he had to. He knew he had to be the leader and he knew he had to stay positive for everybody, but then deep inside it's just like I'm just so sad, man. My best friend, like he's in there and I was so scared and I was so afraid and those real emotions come out later and Takamichi doesn't say anything. He
Yeah.
doesn't go to talk to him. And I'm like, oh, that's so powerful. Cause like, yes, these are just kids and they're just in this situation and it
And
sucks.
it also like just doubles down on the whole, hey, if Draken is lost, then Toman becomes a completely different gang.
Sure. Because then who knows? Well, I mean, I guess everybody
We know
else knows
we
in the
yeah,
future. We
yeah,
know what happens, but like
exactly.
that the crux of Mikey, who is the leader, is Draken. And so crazy. Um, so he got he got a big head
He
here.
got a little bit of a
This
big head.
dude, because everybody's talking about him. I guess he's still. If anybody actually does confront him about anything, he will not be able to hold his own for sure. But nobody dares to confront him about what happened.
Yeah.
He gets his new
Threads.
threads looking good. I can see him wearing it. I can see
Yeah.
him getting into it for sure.
Draken tells him, it's more important to Toman than anything else, that jacket
Yeah.
that you're holding. So there's some weight to it. And I think when he says that it's a little too heavy for me, I think that's what he means. Not like literally too heavy.
Yes, not literally, just the weight of what it means is a lot because now he's gonna rep this group and he has to be ready for whatever and he has to fully commit to it because I
Hmm.
don't think he's committed just yet. We'll see you later in the next episode. He's committed, but like as of right now, he's just like, I just kind of want to look the part. I just kind of like being the tough guy without actually, I
Because
like being
I'm
him on
not
TV
actually a tough guy.
because I'm not actually a tough guy. This moment at the top of the building, I think it would have been so much easier going forward and at any other time, but he won't do it. I think it would be so much easier if Takamichi just told somebody.
Dude,
And I think
yeah,
he
I
had the
know.
moment here. He had the moment for Mikey, but he waited too long and Mikey's little boy
Mikey
brain
took
just went somewhere
yeah.
else. So like
Mikey's never mind.
it's just like, yeah, he went, okay, oh well, whatever. His little cat fucking brain, look over there. But like, I feel like he could have an easier time, but he won't. He doesn't see it that way. He thinks he has to do it all on his own, and he probably will.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
Naoto kind of like, probably scared him completely off of it, off the concept of when he mentioned potentially telling Hina, and he was like, "Oh, do you want her to think you're crazy? Like, who else would believe this shit?"
I think Mikey would. I think
I
Mikey and
I think
Draken
Mikey
would.
and Draken at this point, after that, I think that if he just flat out told them, "Hey, this is what's going on," and yeah, yeah,
If he would have
I think
told him,
I don't know how it would go, but I think it's an option.
bring them both into the room in the hospital and say, "Hey," because they both trust him. They both have this connection to him. I mean, Mikey gave him his jacket, his first jacket. So like he has to at least understand that maybe what he's saying wouldn't be crazy, at least for a moment, and hear him out. So I think if any moment this would have been it
And
to
it'd be
bring
such
both
an
of them in.
easy concept to prove too.
Yeah. He's like, I know this happened. I know all of this other stuff. I tried to help
Guess
you. You
what?
even
5
said,
days from now, go back to the future, look up something that happens 5 days, go back to the past. Hey, guess what? 5 days from now, this exact thing with these exact details are gonna happen. Watch.
but then him saying that might
Bro, he
actually
could
change
break
the
the
future.
stock market. We haven't even gotten into the
We haven't
implications
even
of
got
that.
to the almanac yet. We haven't even brought the almanac back. And the yeah. Biff is
There's
where's Biff? Um
but like exactly what I just said, exactly what you just said. That's the problem with time travel narratives wholesale. Is that
yeah,
there are so many nuanced options that you could get into that you really can't tell the story that everybody wants to see
sure.
or that
Uh
imagines happening.
Claire says it depends on his memory being highly accurate and those events not changing from his memory. Yeah. So like him even saying anything or him remembering something and then
I'm
him saying it will change it.
he
So
could like hang out with Hina at Hina's place with Naoto right there with like a notebook in his lap and go back and forth to the future. See, this is what I mean. There's so he could go back and forth to the future like 10 different times and just gather sentence by sentence all the information and write down one sentence at a time in the past and then have that notebook ready. 5 days from now, these 10 sentences are going to happen.
that's too much work.
But it's
Takamichi wouldn't do it.
possible
But yes, I
within the
for
narrative elements.
I definitely think that he could pull it off to where he has somebody on his side to help him out, but he won't, and it's going to be a struggle, and it's going to be tough.
And
So
then
we
we
come
get to go
back,
down the path that we see him go because that's so much
yeah.
better.
But everything he does in the past changes his future timeline, just going back probably distorts something. That's what I'm
You know what?
saying.
You're fair.
It's
You're right. You're right.
every him writing it down is going to blow some butterfly.
It's gonna make some volcano erupt in another country.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
him going back and forth so rapid fire is going to create some static in the fucking
Time
timeline
travel
or
police are
something.
gonna show up and
Yeah.
everything.
So we go back to the future and he's working back in the place where he got fired. We see Akun, who I was so happy for. I was so happy to see him
It's great to
as
see him back, and it's great to see him as a more recognizable version of himself from the past. I think that
yes,
hits harder.
yes, because it's just a grown-up version of what he would have been. And that's the future that we wanted for him.
Not the other version of him that we
Yeah,
saw, who
the
just it was still
tattoos.
Akun. Akun is still Akun, but it's just, you could tell he was fighting some battles.
Mhm. Um, Claire says the weird part to me is what he does when he's not in the past. Yeah, the click scenario where he just autopilots. Apparently, he
It's the
lost.
autopilot. Yeah.
Apparently, he broke up with his girlfriend during that autopilot somehow. So who knows? We'll talk about it in the next one. But so where am I? Where am I? So we see Akun, and then we see all's right in the world. Hina is still alive, and we're gonna go see her. And I want to know. Me and Kaylin had some discussion, and I still don't know the answer.
Sure.
Naoto remembers everything.
Yeah.
Naoto is connected to the past of what he's changing. He remembers the old timeline. What happens to Naoto whenever the future changes? So Takamichi goes to the past, and does it instantly change for him? And then the surroundings are changed. And it's like, oh, I'm in a
Probably.
new, he must have done something because it's instantly different.
Probably.
Or, so that's wild. And
The
he's just cool with it.
the things that the way the show plays out, that's what would have me believing. And then to respond to what Claire said about, but is the situation he sets himself up in him changing autopilot him, I would say yes, and that he left his past
Oh,
self with a super big head. And so
oh,
that's what eventually leads to the two of them
him
breaking
breaking
up
up. I didn't
and
even
breaking
think
up with
about
her.
that. The enemy of my
Could yeah,
autopilot.
that's the click in again. This is auto. If Click autopilot rules. Your autopilot is your enemy because they will engage in behavior that is very passive and not showcasing that
And
you're
to
active
what
and in the moment.
to what he has been leading up as, because like you said, he would have a big head because of what he's doing, and that already puts that into the autopilot's head. I don't know, man. That's too much. There's too
Yeah.
much going on here. But yes,
Anyways,
correct,
episode
Claire.
12.
Yes, I think so. I definitely believe that for sure. But what happens to Naoto whenever
Yes.
something
Oh, yeah.
changes?
That's
Because
where
he's
we're
just
at.
in a
Sorry.
timeline.
Yeah.
uh, the scenery changes, and he's like, I remember everything,
Yeah.
and now let me look it
Because
up.
he's
Oh, my
linked to
sister's still alive.
powers,
Yeah.
right?
What happens to
But
him?
so now in this timeline, he doesn't have his whole board set up of all the stuff
Yeah,
because
that
the
never happened.
he never became the Toman investigator or whatever.
But then who
Who
saved
say
him in front of the train? But then how did
no?
this whole thing start then?
Yes.
He should just stay in the past then, because there's no way to come back.
What would happen if he just stays in the past?
I don't
Who
know.
cares about future self if you can just stay in the past? Honestly.
Yeah. Go kiss your 16-year-old girlfriend
Okay.
or
Wait.
whatever.
Never mind.
Episode 12, what happens? We got to finish it out. What happens in episode 12, Revenge?
Takemichi finds himself running away from Hina's apartment after being brought there by Naoto, only deciding to come back after accidentally running into Hina on his way out. Both Hina and Takemichi act incredibly bashful and shy to the point Naoto offers to take them on a drive before he himself finds work calling him and having to leave. Now alone with each other, Takemichi and Hina stop to walk through the park, with Hina revealing and looking for an answer as to why he dumped her 12 years ago. Overwhelmed, Takemichi takes off, asking to meet her back at the car. A grown Hanma would run into Takemichi in the park restroom, remarking, "You're not in the car." Takemichi running back to Hina, only in time to see her sitting in the headlights of a Hummer, speeding right at the car that she's in. Losing both Akun and Hina again, Takemichi now has a new goal: to become the head of Toman in order to reach a future where the people he loves can be safe.
What a fucking moment.
What an episode 12.
What an arc to be set here. Because every single time we've gone to the past, it's to stop things from happening, to stop things from happening in the past, stop things from uh, this going certain way, but by doing things to help other people stay alive, to help other people stay on the right path, to change things for other people. And now his goal is to ultimately change him the whole time, which is like complete his little arc here, hopefully, because he's annoying. Hopefully, complete his little arc of being a badass finally and becoming the head of the thing. It's so good. Such a fan. Imagine the show from autopilot perspective. He blacks out, does crazy stuff, comes comes 2 weeks later. I imagine he wants to cure it. That would be funny. He's like, "What's wrong with me?" Autopilot stuff. He's like, "I don't know. I just blacked out this whole time, and what's going on now? I'm in Toman. What am I doing?" Yeah, that would be pretty funny. Um, bro, Takamichi's annoying in this episode. After all this time, after all the
Yeah,
work you put
dude.
in,
Oh my god.
he doesn't want to see Hina, and I'm like, "What the fuck, dude?" And I'm so glad that they
My
actually did
brother in
fine.
Christ.
My brother in Christ, what are you doing, dude? He's like, no, it's okay. I'm just gonna. She's
I'm
not gonna.
just a
She's gonna hate me,
stranger. She doesn't even know me. Like,
bro. You were her first kiss. Like, at least think about that. Like, you still remember your first kiss, no matter like what. Whether you want to see them now or not, it's gonna be like, oh, hey, what's up? At least that. But we see them being super weird together. Super. This is the girl you've been doing this whole thing for, my man. You've put in so much time.
he like half of the episode's lines are him internally conflicted because he has this whole thing where he thinks, like, Naoto mentions it offhandedly, "Oh, that's, you guys broke up 12 years ago. That's the last time you saw each other." And then he's just like, "She broke up with me?
And then
What?"
yeah, he makes this whole thing up.
And he's like in his head the whole time just to find out that he was the one that broke up with her canonically.
Yeah. So all of that, the
She's
whole
wearing the
meeting,
necklace you
she's wearing the
gave
necklace,
her,
bro.
bro. You literally said I'm giving this to her to leave something,
And then you don't even
and
take
then you
your yeah, that was the whole point, bro. It was so annoying. This whole
yeah.
thing in this episode Talking Meet You was super annoying with all this stuff, especially with the
But
whole what's up?
with how the episode does end up resolving, I do see why it was like trying not to give immediate
Sure.
an immediate, what's the word for it, the immediate satisfaction and resolution
Satisfaction.
of
Yeah.
them, coming together as adults.
Because he still hasn't got that.
Yeah,
And she's
she's
gone
still
now.
not safe.
Yeah. All that goes to them meeting up or driving to the place where I guess he broke up with her at the point because she's like, I love him and I never got over it and I don't know why he broke up with me. And he's like, oh my god, who could ever break up with you? You're amazing. All this stuff. Whatever. He figures out. He goes, an older Hanma, bro. He looks
Dude,
cool as hell.
the way I can still remember like a shiver going up my spine the first time this scene happened, and he says you're not in the car, I'm just immediately like, are you serious? Like, I know that things weren't like, there's still a show. There's still a show that's gonna happen.
Yes.
But are you serious?
Yeah. Oof, you're not in the car, and then he sees this, and again, the second nail knife through the heart was it being Akun
Talking at the wheel.
again. And I'm like, no, we had the future. You were gonna be a hairstylist. This was gonna be. We even talk about him being like, you were gonna be my first haircut, right? And I'm like, bros, and him being the one to drive the car, even though he does seem change, even though some of the future does seem change, and Akun is
He's
better
still
off for it,
terrified of Kasaki.
and it's so horrible and gut wrenching, and it hurts. Like I did not expect. That was one thing I did not. Well, two things. I didn't expect them to do something in the future to where I'm like, oh no, they need to change it. But the other thing, not expecting it was going to be Akun again. So he does have to end up saving both of them again because they died in the future still, no matter what he did. Draken is still alive, but something still goes on. And this moment was so badass because they're explosions and it's like, oh, they're dead, they're gone. Now he has to do it some more, and he has to go back to why he was fighting in the first place. Man. But again, timeline stuff, very odd that the night that he comes back is also the night that he gets targeted and
And that he didn't die somewhere up to this point or
didn't. Yeah,
something.
because
Yeah,
like what if
yeah.
he came back to the future but he was dead? And
Yeah.
I'm like, that's what kept me up last
Yeah.
night because or the night before. I was like, what if he comes back, but then there's nothing to come back to because he already died when they did this like a week before. It's just so coincidental. It's a whole time travel show. It's gonna be coincidental,
Exactly.
quote unquote. But like that really, I was like, wait, this is all happening the day that he came back. This is way too coincident. Like, what's going on? He probably could have done that a long time ago. He could have died. What happens if he comes back, but he's dead? Whatever. He's gonna be the head of Toman. That's how the first arc ends. We're done with Tokyo Revengers. Whew, what a wild anime. So we rate the animes on three aspects: animation, storytelling, and vibes. And we rank it on the other list of anime that we've already seen on this show. And let's start off with animation. Matt, what would you give Tokyo Revengers the first arc on animation?
Uh, so up to everything up until these 4 episodes, I feel like the animation was very solid in what it was trying to do. But like you said, with the whole brawl that happened and all of the introduction of characters, you really get to see how stiff it can be at times. I do
Yeah.
like the shots of all the bikers rolling in. It kind of showed just the one shot of a bike rolling past a post like over and over again. You can
Uh
tell
huh.
that there are some cuts in the budgetary department, but again, 24 episodes in the first season. You cannot blame them for all of that, and it still holds up very well. But that being said, I think that puts me at a B for animation on this
Oh.
show.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to put me at a B, where it's like it's good, it's not great, it's not amazing, but it's not. I wouldn't call it subpar in any way. It
Sure.
does the job, and that's it. But we're not really here for the animation with this show wholesale. It would have been
Sure.
nicer to have it with some better animation. Where would you rate
Yeah.
the animation?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with B as well. That's what I had put it because like when the moments hit, it looks beautiful. When there's fire, there's something crazy going on. There's beautiful lights when they're at the festival. I'm like, cool, this is great. Whenever they do sort of a shot like this, when it's like, oh, this is so gorgeous. Like this one shot is dope. So there is like diamonds in the rough for this. And a lot of the character designs I really love. I love the character designs in the show. They're all super unique. I never really had a problem with distinct or telling people apart like
Yep.
I do because sometimes I have facial blindness and it's very hard for me to see like, oh wait, did we see this person already? Even though we're going back and forth between two timelines, I know who they are, and it's like so cool to see that. But all that good being said, like it was a little stiff. It was like lacking a little bit. And I wish there was just more frames of movement. I think that's my main thing is that there wasn't enough frames of movement when there needed to be and to convey what's the storytelling is trying to tell. Like I needed more a little bit in the animation. It looks great, but I really wanted some more, especially with like fighting and stuff. It was like a B for me or B plus. Um, Dan says, "Damn, I'm late. At least I'm here for the ranking." Yes, you can watch the
Damn.
episode on Friday on YouTube, the full episode.
Friday.
Friday. It'll come out on Friday, I think, because I'm playing Honkai. Um, no, because I'm sleeping. Storytelling, Matt. What would you give Tokyo Revengers on storytelling?
Storytelling, when those emotional beats happen and when those character development moments happen, this show is at its absolute best. And I think where the holes get poked can be poked in the show is definitely at the scrutinization of the time travel aspect of it. But like we've said, with any narrative with time travel elements, you're gonna have a lot of not necessarily inconsistencies, but just a lot of different solutions that could be taken to problems, to
Sure.
the problem solvings that are presented, because time travel is a very incredible tool to use for solving problems. That being said, given suspension of disbelief within this narrative, I think that this narrative is worth giving an A to, in the sense of, again, it's being carried by the character moments and the plot reveals, and I think that all of those are wholly satisfying. um but just because of the way that the narrative is structured with the time travel, that's just the little knock that's honestly taking it from an S to an A for me, where that's where I poke the holes in it. But I love these characters, like all of them. They grow on you over time. Just the little things that it tells you about, like how Draken goes to see Pa every day with Pa's parents, but he can't actually see him. He just stands outside while they go and visit him because only family can go in.
Oh,
Like just all of those little sprinkles of information just really make me love these characters so much.
for sure.
In addition to everything that we actually do see, I just want more of them. It's a show where you said this last episode, you grow, the characters grow on you, and then you just want to see them in situations, and that's all that matters, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, like I didn't think I would like his crew of friends. Like at the start, I just thought they were annoying, and I was like, I really hope we don't see a whole lot of them. I mean, the characters looked cool, but I really didn't see anything in them. And then by the end, like the whole Akun stuff was just so good, so moving, so
Because it
emotionally
doesn't shove it down
investing.
your throat.
Yeah,
Lets
it
you
just kind of
decide that you
yeah,
like
it lets you
them.
for sure. Yeah, it's kind of like leading you down that direction, but you're making the choice to care about them. And I did. I ended up hitting those huge beats, especially at the end. This was so insane. This was so intense and so emotional for me because I was like, no, not again. Now we have to see him die again, even though everything he thought he got it right. Thought this was the end. This is the end of it, but no, it's it is hard. Like you said, with the whole time travel thing, I instantly have a whole like cringe reaction sometimes when I'm like, oh, it's gonna be time travel because I know I'm like super picky about it because not a lot of people got it right. And like for me, my favorite time travel stuff is fucking Back to the Future. And everybody knows there's so many holes in that, but like I can get over it. And in this show, I did kind of get over it. and I can look past some of the questions. It did keep me up at night a little bit, but like I can go along with it and be like, okay, that's cool. That's fine. And let me see more of Mikey being silly. And let me see, Draken doing this really awesome emotional thing that he'll never get the actual like response from anybody because he does it by himself. He doesn't look for validation. And I'm like, oh, these characters are so amazing. I love this stuff. It's so cool, interesting how they're changing, how the timelines are changing. I really think they have something here in the story. And it's also does really well with bringing in new characters because we saw a lot of new characters come up and I instantly know what they're all about and
Yeah,
I'm trying to
Osanai
find.
being a leader of Mobius. You have the introduction of Hanma. You have this whole thing with Kisaki, who still hasn't even been met in the past, but we saw him. He's like, hey, that guy looks familiar.
Mhm.
So we know that guy's doing something somewhere.
Claire says, I think it might work better as premonition so he doesn't have control over it and can't be certain it's true. It also means he isn't much older than the body he's in.
Like instead
Instead of
of, yeah,
actually him going back to the future, it's just like him being like, I think I have this power where I think I can tell what's gonna happen later on. Like if he started off as 16-year-old him and he has some sort of connection with
like
Naoto
they go to the park,
automatically.
they go to the park and where they're gonna have that fight, and the high schoolers show up. He has the premonition that they're gonna be showing up instead of.
But to start it off, he has a premonition that Hina was gonna die eventually, and then it's like, "Oh, what?" And then, yeah, the same thing, he just doesn't go to the past. I think that coulda worked too. You're right, Claire. I think that coulda worked, and we wouldn't have to get into the whole time travel thing. It will just be more a little more witchcrafty, I guess,
Yeah.
or well, I guess the same level of witchcraft as time travel. But storytelling, I give it an A as well. Really good. I'm enjoying it. I really enjoy the characters, and I think Caitlin wants to watch some more of it, and I'm definitely down to see how this ends. Vibes. What would you give vibes?
So vibes, I mean, there's a lot more that goes into the show other than just, the animation. The music for the show is really good. The sound design
So good.
is pretty good. The voice acting is like magnificent. Everybody sounds distinct. Like you hear Mikey, Draken, and Takamichi having a conversation. You close your eyes, you know who's who. Even
Sure.
Hina and Emma, they both are these teenage girl characters, but they're both distinct in their lines. I can honestly just go on and on about the vibes of the show for sure. But everything that this show does, I think, honestly, as cliche as it sounds, it all comes together to make something that's more than the sum of its parts. And that's why I give it an S in the vibes department.
Okay. Nice. So vibes, I really do like it. I think the most annoying thing was Takabichi being the way he was, and I felt it kind of cringe for me, and I was just like, but I know the reason. I know the reason he has to be this way now, so that he could be something different later. I get the whole storytelling arc of this main character. I love them. Like you said, the voice act, the music during the parts when they hit, it hits, and I'm like so down for it all. Um, yeah, I give it an A just because I don't know. Takamichi part being annoying and being a little odd. The time travel, I'm just like it. Even though we know a direction, I'm just like, okay, is that how we do it? I don't know, but I really did enjoy it. I really did enjoy this anime. I give the vibes an A, but I was enjoying it and I was there for all the emotional beats. I was present and I was feeling what they wanted me to feel, and that was really good. So for Tokyo Revengers, where do we put it and what do we rank the first arc?
Drum roll, please.
We both give it an A. So Tokyo Revengers ranked A anime. Go check it out if you want to go, if you want to, and enjoy a nice anime. We have a bunch of anime that we've already seen on this show. On the left is me, on the right is Matt. I had to condense Matt's because we got a lot of them there, but it is
Too
there on
much
the A
good
side.
stuff.
Too many good things. I forgot we put Danganronpa as C. Oof.
That's where
Um,
it belongs.
so that's where we have it. We
I
have a
stand
bunch of
by
S tiers.
Duke at D.
we've done. Yeah, let's not talk about that one.
These nuts.
We've seen a bunch of anime. If you want to go back in the catalog of all the Jules and Matt anime hours, they're on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/JulesTheHuman, or you can go to Spotify. Just look up the Jules and Matt anime hour. You can watch them on Spotify. That's how we do it. Wow, Wick on the sticks.
Click on the sticks.
Who are you? Thank you for the 1,000 bits.
That's my roommate.
Oh, it is?
They were roommates.
They were roommates. Week on a stick. We are about to pick an anime. You get 2 picks. If you can do it within the next couple minutes, give us 2 animes and you can enter it in to the box of anime.
But what's already in the box?
So what's in the box right now? These are all the animes. We're done with Tokyo Revengers. No more talking about Tokyo Revengers. I am revenged enough. But these are the animes that we get to choose from for the next couple of weeks. And we get to pick one of them. Let us know on Twitch chat right now. Who are you, or which anime are you hoping to watch next? Ranking of Kings and Tower of God.
Nice.
Ooh, okay. Ranking of Kings. I've already seen Ranking. Oh, I think Matt's already seen Ranking of Kings too.
Correct.
I don't know if that's okay or if you want to pick
alert.
another one. Wick on the sticks. I don't know if you want to pick
so
another
far.
one other than Ranking of Kings, because me and Matt have already seen it, but we can talk about it if you're like, I wouldn't mind talking about Ranking of Kings. That was, as long as you don't care, I don't care. Tower of
Same.
God. I haven't seen that one. Have I?
I don't.
Is
think
that the
so.
one where they're fighting? No, that's Records of
They do be
Ragnarok.
fighting.
That's Record of Ragnarok, which is a dumb anime that I want Matt to watch. I wouldn't mind seeing that one. It's
I
so
don't
dumb.
know if I'll ever watch that one. I've heard
It's
about
so
it.
silly.
Um,
But Wick, just
and-
let me know if you don't care. Just say I don't care or go for it. Then we can put those 2. But these are the anime in there right now, plus Tower of God and possibly Ranking of Kings. Thank you so much for the 1,000 bits. That goes to me and Matt.
Thank you.
For 500 bits, you can submit an anime for us to watch. But these are the anime that we get to pick from. And I don't know what all of these. Yeah, I haven't seen any of these.
Okay, I put them in.
And I'm excited. So, oh, you put both of them in? Okay.
Yep. Too late.
The next anime that we're watching for the show and for the next couple weeks. Oh, brother. Is going to be.
What is that? That's Black Summoner.
Black Summoner? Is that what it's called? Black Summoner?
Summoner. Yep.
Who did that one? Was that?
I don't know. I didn't write the name on here. Might have been Bubsy.
Might have been Bubsy. Black Summoner. Never
Been in
heard
there
of it
for a while.
Don't know. That was one of the first ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been in there for a while. So Black Summoner, we're going to be watching episode 1 through 4 of Black Summoner for next week. And don't forget to watch this. Everybody that's watching live on Twitch, we go live on Wednesdays now, Wednesday at 7 p.m. So this time next week, watch episodes 1 through 4 of Black Summoner. And I don't even know what the characters look like. I haven't even looked it up. I don't know what the characters look like. I have no idea. What
I've seen like the what's it called? I've seen it in my like recommended for you, but I have not watched it at all.
I might
Don't know
have
what it's
too.
about.
Downloading on my phone right now. Let's go. So Black Summoner episode 1 through 4. We're gonna be talking about it next Wednesday. Watch it before then. I'm super excited to dive into another one. We just wipe the slate clean and go for
let's
another
see how
anime.
long it is, I guess.
Sure. How long the first season is?
Yeah.
So that's how it works. Then we make our entire
12
personality.
episodes. Perfect.
12 episodes. All right. We'll finish the first season of Black Summoner. So episode 1 through 4 by next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central. This time next week, come by and we'll be talking about it. We love your thoughts. We love to watch it with you because it's kind of like an anime club. We would love for you to watch them as well. And we go on this journey. We might not like it. We might love it. It might become our favorite anime. But whether we like it or not, we get done with it in 3 weeks and we start another one. So if you're not super feeling it, we could all
Can
agree
we see
like,
the
oh, that kind of
rankings
sucks.
again?
Sure.
How like the rankings so far. So you just don't have a D tier anime, but other than that, we've set a baseline of sorts.
Baseline, yes. And I feel like we're gonna have to start like a season 2 or something of the
Yeah.
show so we can get a
Yeah.
brand new list and retire this tier
Hmm.
list here and just start from the scratch as well because there's a lot here. There's a lot of
There's a
them.
lot.
But Matt, where can they find you on the internets when you're not
Revenging the
revenging
Tokyos and
Tokyo?
traveling the timelines. You can find me on my Twitch at Matt_Galley. Follow
Whoa, you
me.
stream?
I do. Once my OBS wants to start working, I love technology so much. We're doing stuff and things, and it's great. And yeah, you could also follow me on any of my socials at ITS, Matt_Galley. Just add an ITS at the front of it. And when we're not here talking about the many, many nuances of time travel, where can the people find you?
I am on Twitch right here on this channel, twitch.tv/JulesTheHuman. I'm going to be streaming some Hawkeye because I have like 75 pulls and I'm going to pull a Jinglu. Hoping for that. Also on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/JulesTheHuman. I've put up like 2 or 3 new Honkai videos if you want to go check that out. I'm super into Honkai content right now, so I'm vibing and playing some other games and stuff here on Twitch and YouTube. You can watch this show on Spotify. You can watch it. You don't have to just listen to it. We have the video on Spotify. So if you want to look it up, Jules and Matt Anime Hour, go back into the catalog, watch all the anime that we've watched. And you can watch it on my YouTube channel as well. youtube.com/JulesTheHuman. I have a little podcast area. Claire says, if it's not good, I'm blaming you. Perhaps you could do something so the previous ones with the letter rating cycle through during the show. Oh, that
That
would
could
be
be neat,
cool to be like,
like a little graphic or
here
something.
here are all the other ones we rated as an A or something, so we can kind of go back through it. Oh, that'd be kind of cool. Okay. Yeah, I'll think about that for sure. Yeah, because like if you're just joining for this arc, you wouldn't know. Like here, okay, cool. Yeah. It's in the realm
It's in the
of
production notes.
yeah, we'll write that down for sure. That was really good. Thank you.
That's yeah.
But
Thank you.
next week, Black Summoner. If you always add them in the middle, it also pushes them off the sides as the ranking goes up too.
True. Just like once they're out, they're out.
I just been making them
Action item.
small. I just been making them little squares in the
Yeah.
size. So there's like
No,
4
yeah,
little
that's true.
squares.
Just kind of
And
like
you
have them once they get pushed out, they get pushed out.
so we just always have the most recent ones.
That could be
Fuck.
good.
That's a lot of work now I gotta do. All right. Next
Moving
week,
parts.
moving parts, production. Black Summoner next week, Wednesday, first 4 episodes. I've been Jules Human. That's Matt, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.